Well, hello, I'm Joanna with Blissful Baby Sleep Coaching, and I'm here with Meredith. We're doing a success story. Thank you, Meredith, for coming to be with me today.
Yes,
Um,
of course.
Meredith has we just finished sleep training her son, who's 10 months old, and we had a very interesting journey, and she wants to share it with you. So I always like to start off and ask, like, okay, Meredith, what did life look like before you called and asked for some sleep support?
Oh God, it was chaotic, unpredictable. We were sleep deprived. Really had no personal time for ourselves. It was, um, you know, get up, get the baby ready, work, get home, deal with the baby and everything unpredictable there. Maybe get some sleep, but up multiple times. No consistent sleep, bedtime, transfer fails, up multiple times, maybe 4 or 5 times in the middle of the night, tons of crutches, bottle feeding, rocking to sleep, co-sleeping, and really, really affecting our life.
Yeah, and they were both really depleted. They came and said, like, look, we literally cannot keep up. Like, the demands on in the middle of the night are insane. So bedtime was hard with all the transfer fails, but the middle of the night stuff was
It was
insane.
it was brutal because it only got worse. You might think, oh, it's just going to be 20 minutes, and then an hour later you're still up. You really could not make any sense of it. No two nights were the same. Um, and so it just was really painful.
Yeah,
And
it
we
was
were tired.
painful. And so what made you decide to reach out for help?
It's so funny. I was just so delirious myself, and it was actually my mom who was like, I think you need some help, intervention style. Talked to a very good family friend who said, my daughter went through the same thing. Let me get Joanna's information. I'll text it to you. And that night, sure enough, she did. And I reached out, I think that night, and didn't look back. And I was so
Yeah.
happy to have had the suggestion.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I think what Meredith just said is really important, right? Like Meredith knew she was sleep deprived. She knew every single day was total chaos, meaning nothing was predictable in her life. But she was so delirious, she didn't even know that there could be help or where would you go for help? Like, right? Like it wasn't
Right.
it was like you were so upside down that you didn't even know what options you had.
That's right. The pediatrician, had mentioned to us, because it's not their specialty, but oh, you shouldn't be giving him bottles in the middle of the night anymore. He doesn't need those. And why don't you try the method, go in 5 minutes, back in 10, 15, see if he cries it out. And those just didn't work. And so we just abandoned. We're like, there's no hope. Like this child's just not going to sleep. And we just kind of, that's where we were.
Aha. So that's super important what you said. So you had made an assumption that
Yeah,
your child was that you were just doomed to have been birthed a bad sleeper. Like you guys made an assumption that you got dealt a bad sleeper baby card.
we did. We just thought, he slept through the night from 2 months to 6 months, and then we just thought, well, that's it. We got we got our win there, and now he's just not going to sleep, and this is just it.
Aha. Okay, so all moms that are listening to Meredith's story, this is important. Two things. One, she made an assumption that her
Hmm.
child was forever going to be a bad sleeper. And she made this assumption at 10 months of age. Okay.
Hmm.
Bad assumption because all sleep struggles can be solved. Number two. The number two thing is that she was so delirious, she didn't even really know that there was an option to ask for help. And it wasn't until her mom tapped her
Yeah,
gently and said, hey, sweetie, I think we might need to help you. And I think I know how we can do that, which is amazing. And I think your mom was obviously very smart to like, to like check in on you and make sure you're doing okay. And then that she was smart enough to like maybe dialogue with one of her good girlfriends. I mean, this is the power of friendship and the power of community, right? Um,
absolutely.
but
Takes a
yeah,
village.
yeah, it takes a village, but that, you didn't even maybe know. So it wasn't like you were out there
Mm-mm.
Googling, like, find me a sleep coach. It was like
No,
you didn't
I
even know
absolutely
that a
was
sleep
not.
coach was an option.
I absolutely did not.
Hmm.
And I especially, we're on different coasts.
Yep.
So I definitely probably would have, if I had, I probably would have just looked more locally. So going off a recommendation, I'm a huge person, word of mouth means everything. Like I will take that over marketing. That's the best marketing, right? So I'll
Right.
take that any day. So of course when I got, the referral, I was like, yes, absolutely. I'm not going to look any further. I'm going to reach out to Joanna. So
Amazing. Amazing. Okay. Well, I'm so glad that you worked out. You did not get stuck in the assumption. And I'm so glad that you had the courage to reach out for support. So on that note, what was it like to get the support? Like what did you like most about getting one-on-one customized support as part of this process to help your child sleep better?
yeah, from the beginning, I felt like we connected with Joanna. Never once did I feel like you were judging us. You always still found a way to lift me up and still make me feel okay. Like I remember you saying, Meredith, you did nothing wrong. Like this is not your fault. Um,
Mhm.
and you always made me feel like we were in this together. We were a team. We were going to address this. And you were really dialed in and interested in what we were experiencing and what was happening with our child. Um, we had daily calls and we would do, emails and texts. And you were not afraid to be like, no, we're not going to start sleep training tonight. We need to set your child up for success. And this is what that looks like. Um, and, it really felt like it was tailored to us and our unique situation. You were always available to us. You always were there to address any questions or concerns we had. And you made sure not only to focus on me as sort of the coach, but when we were in a good rhythm and routine, it was important then to bring my husband in. It was important then, to make sure we transferred all this knowledge to our other caregivers to make sure everyone was doing the same thing and we didn't backslide at all and we were still successful. You were truly there to support us every step of the way with whatever we needed and push us or go with what we were wanting to do, or what my baby was wanting to do
And what your
and
baby was
reading those
able to do.
signs.
Right, right. So
Yeah.
so it was interesting because her baby boy, as bad as his sleep was, he was so ready to learn his sleep skills that once he got a taste of how to do it himself, he just like it was incredible. And so it's like almost like the parents, me and the parents were like, okay, so I guess we're skipping step 2 and step 3. We're moving on because he was so ready, and then but again, this is where that like collaboration and customization comes in is just really, really, really watching so carefully what the child's doing to address how to make the right next steps. And some kids learn slow, some kids learn fast. It doesn't really matter what pace they want to be as long as we're making the appropriate steps towards meeting your sleep goals. So on that note, I would say we exceeded your sleep goals. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so tell us what sleep looks like now.
Oh my gosh, it's a dream. Every night between 5:30 and 6 o'clock, he is in bed. Most nights he is passed out asleep by 6 o'clock, if not before. Usually it is before. And he sleeps through, and we might hear him in the middle of the night, but he quickly goes back to sleep, never crying, and certainly never for a long period of time. Um, and usually 6:30 he's up for the morning. Again, he's not crying, he's talking to himself, singing to himself. He's very calm in his crib. We just watch him, and when we're ready, or if he is crying, we'll go get him. But it's nice to have that predictability, to have a life. If he's asleep by 6 o'clock at night, we still have the whole evening to get
Right.
caught up or just have downtime for ourselves. And in the mornings, for me, that was a big thing. I had no morning routine. It was, hurry up and get ready for work and go. And now I actually can plan. If I want to get up and get a workout in, I know what time, to be ready by. So total game changer. And most importantly, we are sleeping through the night.
Mhm.
It's
And
total
dad's back
game
in the
changer.
master bedroom and dad's back in the master because with the co-sleeping,
Oh yeah.
dad was in the other room just for sheer logistics because dad was the morning caregiver. So when the baby was having early rising, which he did, often dad would be like, okay, fine, 4 a.m. All right, I'll get up and deal with him. But Yeah, I feel like, the fact that he's sleeping 12 hours a night, he takes 2 gorgeous naps. He wakes up happy, he plays happily in his crib, and in fact, I was looking back because we always, like, set our intentions on what we want to achieve, and um you said, "I want him to sleep independently in his crib, I want him to feel comfortable and safe in his room, and I want to be able to, go on a staycation and have the grandparents, um, watch him." And I would s
Yes,
and you just did that with your mom this weekend.
absolutely. I'd say we are well on our way there. We did that, and it wasn't even at my house, it was at her house. So I was like, this is an even bigger win. I'll take it.
Yeah,
So yeah,
amazing.
very exciting. Hit all those goals. And yeah, I don't even think I touched on the naps, but naps were extremely painful for us. 17 minutes here and there. You really didn't nap throughout the day. So you've got an ornery, clingy baby who's tired all the time, and that just led to horrible nighttime sleeping. And now we've consistently got an hour to an hour and a half naps twice a day. Again, we've got predictability, so we can get stuff done during that time. Or if I've got, my mom or another caregiver, they know and they're on the same schedule. So the overnight sleeping was huge for me, but my husband being with him some days during the week, I'd say nap time was the bigger win for him.
Yeah, definitely, like, everyone got their version of the win, which is so amazing.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
Okay, so what's possible for you now that was never possible for you before?
Well, yeah, we just talked about, having a caregiver or my mom stay with him so we can get away. If it's a day or even an overnight or a weekend or for, an extended period of time for a trip, like that's possible and is exciting because that was not before. Having an early morning routine for myself, having me time. I
Mhm.
feel like that's possible and up to me to sort of dictate what that might look like instead of not having an option.
Yes.
And for my husband being a caregiver during the day, um, he's in real estate. So for him, a lot of that can be done sort of in the evening or, 6 o'clock or once the baby's asleep. So for him, that's a huge game changer, just being able to have that time to focus and not feel like he's constantly behind and still feel like you're keeping up and still getting stuff done. Or even if it's not work related, just having that time for the two of us to say, we want to sit outside on the porch with a drink and just enjoy
I
because
know.
we know our house is calm, our house is picked up, and we have, a couple hours before we want to go to bed.
I know.
It's
It's
just
so
nice.
good. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's good. It's just such a life-changing thing. Okay, so on that note, if you met a parent who was sleep deprived and they either didn't know or understand sleep training or they were fearful that doing sleep training would be bad or not good for their child, what would you want them to know?
I would definitely share my story, and I would encourage them not to wait any longer.
Yeah.
Um, I'd say that's the one thing I regret was that I waited so long to really ask for help because this could have been addressed months earlier instead
Mhm.
of allowing it to go on for 5 months. Like I could have been getting sleep that much sooner. So I would definitely, share my experience with other families and really encourage them. It doesn't hurt to reach out. And you of all people, Joanna, like never judged us,
Mhm.
always made us feel super comfortable and really helped us. And I'd say, quickly, it wasn't this drawn out process.
No.
It was something we continued to move forward and we worked together. Um, so, my advice would be don't wait.
Awesome. Thank you so
Like you could
much.
be fixing this.
Yeah. Yeah, you could be having the good life like Meredith, who's planning a
Yes.
trip to Hawaii for a wedding. So, this is good. You're my second client in this past month that got invited to a destination wedding that they're like, "Oh my God, we can actually go." Like
It's a
if this
possibility now.
yeah, if this invitation had come 6 weeks ago, the answer would have been, "No, we can't go." But now that my child's sleeping, I think I can actually consider doing this destination wedding, which is super exciting. So, like, a whole world of possibility opens up to you that you didn't even realize you didn't have until all of a sudden you're like, "Oh my God, I love
Yes.
having my morning routine. This is incredible. I can wake up when I want, and he's happy in his crib babbling, and I can get up and, like, get myself dressed until I greet him,"
Yeah.
So, yes.
We
So
are all happier. all of us.
All of us. Awesome. All right. Well, Meredith, thank you so much for sharing your beautiful story. And I'm so happy you're part of the well-rested family revolution. You are definitely part of it
Yes.
now.
Well, thank you for everything, all your help, and we definitely won't hesitate to call you again because I know things will change as our baby gets older. But
Yeah.
yeah, that would be my one bit of advice to families: don't hesitate, reach out.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.